shag rug trail. I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party. On a roll, TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 7.5. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Below, we fly that flow. Below, spread that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. Funky and free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split, it's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
Cretins, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to Whoop Wednesday. Well, welcome to not a Whoop Wednesday. You were just watching me fly this fresh build with BetaFPV P1 Artisan. This is BetaFPV's ArtLynk VTX and camera setup through their goggles, through these box goggles. Boy, it's been a long time since I've used box goggles, and I do not miss them at all. This is one of the weak links of all of the Artisan systems right now. Nobody has a really good set of goggles out. But for your first set of goggles, these are similar to like the Eachine VR 007s. Not really as comfortable, I don't think. My main issue with these is this top strap here. This top strap does not get long enough for human heads. It probably works on baby heads, but yeah, this top strap sucks. So I've been just like disconnecting the Velcro and letting it hang like this. But then when you do that, these are fairly deep box goggles, so they want to like do this off the front of your face. When you use the top strap, though, they want to do this, and so there's no happy medium in the middle. The optics are crystal clear in here, though. That's kind of nice. But yeah, beginner set of goggles to be expected. The battery is back here. It's a great big battery with a lot of battery life. The buttons make sense. The menus totally work. But yeah, they're box goggles. They're my first set of goggles was these. If ArtLynk is how you enter FPV. You're pretty lucky. It's as I said in the description of this live stream, it is rough, but it is flyable. It is absolutely flyable. You were just watching the DVR from the goggles. I did not know if it was going to record the OSD. I wish that it had, but it didn't. But there is a subtitles track with megabits per second and some other stuff that we're going to take a look at. I flew 3 batteries today on this build. This is a sub 250G FPV, 2.5-inch Turtle HD or V7. I think it's the HD frame. With these old RCX 1103, what is 8,000 kV? 7,800 kV motors, HQ 2.5 by 1.9 by 3 propellers. I was running it on the lightest batteries that I had because these motors don't make very much powder, great, which are GNB 2S 380s and Flywoo 2S 420s, which are the exact same battery, even though they say wildly different milliamp numbers on them. XT30, GEP-RC Taker F411 1-2S AIO, and the P1 ArtLynk setup from a Aquila 20. BetaFPV sent me the Aquila 20 starter kit with the goggles and the controller. I did a live stream reviewing it. The long and short of the Aquila 20 bind and fly is that, much like the goggles, it is, a total beginner quad. Way better than what my first FPV rig was 10 years ago. But very, very loud. It kind of looks like an Avata, but I'm assuming that they didn't do all of the aerodynamic analysis that DJI did. And so there's a lot of like body and battery and sharp angles and plastic, and all of those things make some pretty wild turbulence when the thing is running, and it's just deafening. And so after a couple flights with that thing, I did not want to fly it outside anymore, because I don't want to piss the neighbors off, and it's really not for flying inside either. And so I tore it apart. I pulled the motors out of it because they are 3-bolt 1103 10,000 kV motors, which makes them actually arguably the best motors for some of these sub 250G 2-inch frames that have only 3-bolt motor mounting. So if you're stuck with a frame that has the 3-bolt motor mounting instead of 4, you can buy these motors, and these are the only 1103 10,000s that I've been able to find. The closest to these are the RC and Power 1003 motors. They have a couple different KVs, which are great, but another millimeter of width, that's 10% more width on the stator. And yeah, those Aquila 20 1103s make really good power, and they're on motor plugs, so you can set them up to just plug in, which makes your life a lot easier. Motor plugs on 2S are going to be a lot less of a bottleneck than motor plugs on 1S. So and even on 1S, Butterfly FPV actually just posted a test where he only showed, and this was on a 1102 big power 1S rig, really pushing 1S to its limits, which is where motor plugs should perform the worst. And between motor plugs with some of the contact enhancer, I sell the Stablement 2022 version over on my Etsy store. With contact enhancer, motor plugs were only 4 to 5% of a loss in power over direct soldering. And for as much of a pain in the ass as it is to have direct soldered motors on some of these builds, yeah, I'll take that all day long. Let me make sure that's the right number. I posted it in Discord a little bit ago. Where's it at? Yeah, 4%. 4% more thrust from direct soldering motors over the JST 1.25 plugs. That's nothing. 4% is nothing. Not a single one of you, because there's nobody watching this that's like the top 20 racing pilots in the world. Not a single one of you is going to get anything out of that. 4% is fail for dealing with the pain in the ass that is direct soldering motors. With tiny whoops and just these small rigs in general, especially with the 1mm motor shaft motors. So we're talking 07, 02, 08 motors, 09 motors, 10 motors, and 11 motors. Those all have a 1.5mm motor shaft above and below the bell. Sorry, the 07 and 08 motors have a 1mm motor shaft above the bell, 1.5mm below the bell. That 1mm section above the bell is a joke. It's so easy to bend and break that. And if your motors are on motor plugs, it's really easy to justify spending $8, $9, $10 for a replacement motor and taking 3 minutes of your life to unscrew 3 screws, unplug, plug the new one in, and rescrew 3 screws, right? Like, that's a no-brainer, and you'll do that often. And you'll have a rig that flies really good, because when those motor shafts get bent, everything gets worse. On 10 and 11 millimeter wide motors, there are like 1 or 2 07 series and 08 series motors with a 1.5mm motor shaft up above the bell and down below the bell. On really lightweight rigs, that 1.5mm shaft above and below is actually okay. But once you get up into stuff like this, that's open prop, not on a plastic frame that's going to absorb the impacts, that 1.5mm motor shaft is not enough. And you really want to try to get to a 12mm wide motor where the motor shaft below the bell goes to 2mm, and that actually is strong enough for these. And so, yeah, absolutely does matter. The diameter of the motor shaft is kind of a big deal. So, yeah. This, with the P1 system, is very interesting. I think what's going on is that the latency is changing constantly, because there are moments, and most of those moments are when I'm close to myself, when I'm like right in front of the front yard, where it feels totally fine. And then there's moments, usually when I'm farther away, that it feels horrible. And it's also doing a lot of like stuttering and going into like half frame rate, and there's a bunch of weirdness. And so that's why I'm saying that it's rough, but it is absolutely flyable. The 2 batteries that I played at the intro of the live stream were the last 2 batteries that I flew when I'd become a little bit more comfortable with it, but I never got like actually comfortable flying this thing today. And I've been building and flying these open prop rigs like a lot over the last year. And with either analog, nope, this is 04, with either analog or 04 light or Flywoo 04 light with the wide angle lens, they just feel normal. They feel totally normal. And like, I've flown these motors before, these props before, this frame before, this up tilt before, like everything on this rig is normal and should feel predictable and good and right. But it just doesn't. And that, and like, that either means it always has a lot of latency, or the latency is moving around quite a bit. And that's what I think that it is, because like, I can fly it straight out the front of the yard and do like a snap move, and it feels like there's no latency at all. But then when I start flying it around, then I go behind a tree, or I go just like down the street, and at the moment I'm flying from inside the front door because the mosquitoes are just brutal. Flying inside the front door, when I go all the way down to the end of the street, like the door frame is in between me and the quad. Analog and 04 light don't really have a problem with that. Analog, obviously, the latency is never going to change. 04 light, I've never noticed this. I've never felt uncomfortable flying it. But yeah, the P1 system, there's a real lack of comfort when I'm flying it, to be able to push. Just cruising it up and down the street, totally fine. Absolutely fine. No complaints whatsoever. It's only when I want to start like shooting small gaps, doing big dives, doing sketchy shit up above the trees. You know, with these little rigs, you got to be really careful when you're up above a tree, because if it drops into that tree, it ain't ever coming out. Like these do not have enough weight to push down beyond like one branch. And so it's going to get hung all the way up in the top of that tree, and it's very well maybe never going to come down. And so just putting this thing up above putting any of these smaller rigs up above these trees out in front of the house here, there's a moment of like, hey, when was the last time I had a micro failsafe with this build? Or when was the last time the video, did something strange on this build? And if the answer to that question in my head is like, 4 batteries ago or 3 batteries ago or something like that, I'm gonna like, ooh, hold on, let me just chill. Let me get 10 batteries deep at least in this without any weird shit going on, right? Before I put it somewhere like essentially unrecoverable, possibly unrecoverable, right? And so, yeah, with the way that the P1 system kind of glitches and goes into like half frame rate and some of that stuff, the answer to that question is like 15 seconds ago. And your confidence goes completely out the window, unless you just don't care about losing rigs, and then, it's fine. But it's not, because when it glitches and stuff, like, you're like, and so the beginning of the live stream was the DVR from the goggles. In the goggles DVR, what I noticed is that you get like crazy blockiness and like smearing. You don't really get that in the goggles. When you're flying it in the goggles, let's just roll through that flight footage, I guess, while I'm talking. And so I'm going to leave the... I also tried race mode. Didn't do anything. I'm going to leave the subtitles on so that we can keep an eye on like the bit rate and stuff like that. I think the bit rate is the only thing that really matters. I did turn the bit rate up as high as it would go, which is 25 megabits per second. And you could see it immediately dropped down to 16. This was actually a failsafe. The antenna that came with this GEP-RC Taker F411 1-2S is not antennaing. So I had to swap to a different... I had to steal an antenna from an old FR Sky receiver. FR Sky was 2.4, and yeah, works totally fine now. So we're gonna keep an eye on this bit rate, which is in low power mode here at 1 megabit per second, but as soon as I arm it, it'll jump up towards 24 or 25, but it never quite gets there. And so yeah, you're gonna see a lot of like blockiness and just garbage. There's a lot of digital garbage going on. Like here, like this is nasty. And so like when you see it get like that, it's, what I can tell you is that it's not as bad as what you're looking at here in the goggles. But when it gets bad in here, something is happening in the goggles. More often than not, there'll be like a couple little stutters in a row, and then it'll come back and it'll be fine. Sometimes it'll go to this weird like half frame rate thing, which is it is flyable, but it's really like disconcerting. So like there, when you see it get all smeary, it doesn't smear like that in the goggles, but I just get like these. It's almost like a micro failsafe, but in the video. I have this set up with a whip antenna because the goggles are linear antennas, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to do a circular polarized on the quad. And this is like kind of a fresh whip antenna. It's one of the DJI ones that have a little bit longer cable on them. This video performance compared to the 04 Lite, I mean, we kind of can't even compare this to the 04 Lite. It's just like this is closer to like analog than the 04 Lite is. I want to do a little bit of reading on the Artisan system and see if it's like DJI where it both sends and receives, or if it's like analog and HD0 where the quad sends and the goggles receive and that's it, because this almost seems like that where it's the goggles are just receiving, and so like when they get garbage they don't have that two-way connection where they can ask for a cleaner frame there. But yeah, as you can see, this is pretty rough. Again, in the goggles it's nowhere near this bad. But all the times that you see this garbage, I'm getting something that's happening. Sometimes it just feels totally disconnected, which is the latency going ape shit. We can see the bitrate was just hovering around 16 for a while. Now it's down to 11, even though I'm right in front of the door. Now it bounced back up to 16. So yeah. Also, we want to keep in mind that there's no onboard. I do have an affiliate link for Newbie Drone, Dead. It's over on CiottiFPV.com. We want to keep in mind that this is a $35 VTX and camera. And you get what you pay for, and I think this is better than $35 performance, if I'm really honest here. But one of the things that I didn't even realize, I didn't even think about, that we lose is on board. Like, this is it. This is all I've got. Much like old school Vistas, right? Like, you can record on the goggles and that's it. There's no onboard recording whatsoever. To put a chip onto this VTX that would have any amount of storage, you know, it would probably double the price with how much memory costs right now, right? And so a $35 camera and VTX would probably go to like $70 just to be able to record on board. But being able to record on board would get rid of all the garbage. And we would have nice, clean video. But that's, you know, I'm sure somebody will do that. But it is pretty impressive to have a fully digital system that sometimes looks really good for such a low price. I just realized that well, what the hell? Where did I was going to say, I just realized that the subtitles are gone, but they're on. That was weird. Hopefully they stay on this time. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the bitrate is maxing out at 16. That's weird. I have it at 24 in the goggles. This distance is interesting. Oh my god, it actually works. So the distance must be based off of signal strength. That's kind of cool. I wish that there was. I wish that it told us latency in here. The fact that it has air temperature and ground temperature too is absurd. I think this might be the battery that I was on race mode. I'm not totally sure, but like I said, there was no difference in the race mode when I turned that on, and I've heard that from other people too that have reviewed this system. So yeah, like. Trying my best, you know, you're watching me try really hard to get comfortable with it. And Yeah, having a rough time, let's just say. It's for somebody's very first kind of setup, it's great. And it's a hell of a cheap introduction into FPV, where you can actually see where you're going, because no matter how you like, this is better than analog and HD0, like full stop. Yeah, there's maybe a little bit more breakup. So here's where I finally had the balls to go up above the trees, and you can kind of see, like, it's kind of all over the place. But like when it's not glitching out, and again in the goggles it's not this bad, you can see where you're going. Like, it's crystal clear. And, you know, that's one of the things that I've heard people complain. One of the very first complaints about people that get into FPV on analog is they're just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I can't see where I'm going. And it's like, well, that's good because you're learning how RF works. But without somebody to say that to them, I know that people quit. I know that people give up because they can't see where they're going. They don't understand that when they go behind 3 trees, the RF's not going to penetrate through them, and they lose it, or, you know, whatever. And so, like, yeah, okay, penetrating beyond 3 trees does not look great. I also had this turned up to full power, which is 200 milliwatts. More output power would obviously help here, but not that much. 200 milliwatts should do a hell of a lot better than this. It certainly does on analog. And I've even run the 04 lights down on really low power, like 200-ish before, and they just slay. So, yeah. It's rough for sure. The P1 setup, and so here's the last battery. I cleaned the lens for this battery. This is back. So that battery you were just watching was race mode, and now I'm back off of race mode. Yeah. It's like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, what I would say is that this system should not have been released, and it needs more work before being sold to the general public. In 2026, nobody releases anything that is like well tested and good to go. Everybody just releases trash and then waits for us to complain, the consumer, and then fixes it just enough to shut us up. And if, you know, every single major gaming industry and like even DJI, right, all these massive companies are doing that, why wouldn't BetaFPV do it too, right? Like, why wouldn't BetaFPV also just put it out and get feedback? And so, I don't know. It's hard to fault them for doing this. Oh, so here's another thing that I don't love about this, and it's just a complaint about the camera, is that the sensor in the camera is a 16:9 sensor, which sacrifices vertical field of view. And I really, really, really noticed that I'm running this at the same up tilt as everything else. Even the DJI 04 Lite with the smaller field of view, it doesn't feel this bad in terms of a lack of vertical field of view. And so that made it kind of difficult, because when I wanted to pick up speed, I would just kind of be staring at the ground. So that was kind of rough. I think that's about all the thoughts that I have on it. I have not seen anybody, I'm sure somebody has, but I haven't seen any reviews of people like building the P1 into a custom rig like this that's really agile and fast and acrobatic. I've pretty much only seen it on the bind and flies and stuff that is very slow and typically kind of flies flat. You know, this is putting the antenna in a million different weird orientations. And that's difficult. That, you know, that creates a lot of little like micro interruptions in the clean, hopefully clean video signal, and that's when these systems have to really work hard, right? That's where DJI really earns the money that they charge for it, because they're a big company with a lot of super talented folks. And so they put a ton of time and effort and money into getting their system to run super solid, both in the goggles and in the recorded views here. This battery here looks completely unflyable, but I haven't crashed yet. And so obviously it is flyable. Again, this onboard DVR is way worse, way worse than what I was seeing in the goggles. But I was definitely uncomfortable flying this. Like doing close proximity stuff like that felt really bad. It felt like I was about to lose the thing, because the latency was changing, because there were little stutters, because it was going into half frame rate at random. And so, yeah, this is a rough representation of it, because, you know, much like analog, for whatever reason, when these goggles record to the DVR, all hell breaks loose. I don't know. But again, yeah, it was rough to kind of fly this. Which is a shame, because, ready? That looks really good. Like and I mean, that's like we're a little bit too close here, but like, look at the beginning of this battery. Look how clean that looks, right? Like, we turn off these subtitles, and other than, like, there's some weirdness going on at the top of the screen here. You can kind of see it in the goggles. There's an interesting, like, line across the top that I think is maybe the ultraviolet filter has maybe, like, broken off or something like that. But you can see it up here in this is called chromatic aberration, when in between really bright and really dark, you get either pink or green or purple like this. And you can see, like, it's really bad on the top of the screen here, but it's not nearly as bad down here. So there's something going on with the camera. And like I said, in the goggles, I can see a defined pink line, probably like about this high in the goggles. There's just like a line, and above that, it's a little bit pink, which typically you'll get when there's no ultraviolet filter, and then the rest of it is totally fine. But like this is an incredible quality image, right? And so if we can have this, but without all the garbage, for $35, like, that is wild. That is wildly impressive. And so the Artisan system definitely seems to have a ton of potential if these things can get figured out. And what I'm really excited for is the potential of an open source Artisan setup. Artisan is basically the name of the technology that BetaFPV and Walksnail and somebody else are using to make these really inexpensive HD VTX camera systems, which is why I keep saying Artisan, because this is BetaFPV's version, P1 ArtLynk. You know, I don't know if ArtLynk will be the really good one, right? Like, we're still in that little, like, arms race of, like, who's going to nail this down first. And what strikes me here is that the Artisan ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, I bet you it's going to be really good in, like, a year from now. And it could very well compete with DJI, which would be awesome, because, you know, things. Because Skydio is an evil company and have managed to get DJI banned here in the US. And so, yeah, I'm really impressed with the Artisan system, and my God, $35 is nothing for a VTX and a camera, but it's got a ways to go. In the goggles, I was coming close to having fun flying it, but I don't want to lose this frame. I don't want to lose this AIO, and the level of discomfort was just a little bit too high for me to like really be able to relax and just fly. There was no moment with this that I was like just flying it. I was like paying attention every second to like what was going on and just waiting for it to completely lock up, or you know what I mean? Like I was always on guard the entire time I was on guard. Like I was flying a quad with a transmitter and goggles rather than I was just flying. And those of you that have been into FPV for long enough that you really know what I mean there, which is basically that like if you've been in FPV for long enough and you've gotten good enough at flying, there is a point where everything goes away. The tech, the video system, the control link, the transmitter in your hands, the goggles on your face, it all goes away. And your brain is like all the way tricked basically into I'm flying, and that's when, you know, you can call it your flow state, you can call it whatever. That's the carrot on a string of FPV. That is why you stay in FPV for more than a year, for more than 2 years. This is why when you've lost your third rig, you buy a fourth or you build a fourth. That is what makes all the bullshit. And good God, is there a lot of bullshit in FPV. But it's what makes all the bullshit worth it. And in this thing's current state, with this whip antenna, with those goggles, in a build like this, in fairness, this is really good antenna placement. The battery is really small here, so like I was never really putting the battery in front of the antenna. Right? Like this antenna placement doesn't really get much better than this. In fairness, yes, it is a whip antenna, but they're linear antennas on the goggles, and I've used whip antennas on lots of stuff, and they perform fantastic. And so, yeah. I think the goggles need CP antennas, and then we can put a CP antenna on here, and that'll potentially help things, because like obviously there's garbage getting back, there's like not clean signal getting back into the goggles, and a linear antenna is going to make that situation worse. A CP or circular polarized antenna will make that situation a lot better. So I think a quick, easy, cheap win to improve this system is going to be to include a CP antenna on here and to put CPs on the goggles. But again, these are like beginner my first goggles. At some point, somebody will put out a half decent set of goggles for this, and in theory, they'll have a better antenna setup. You know, these goggles probably don't even have a patch antenna. They probably just have the two little dinky linears on the side here, right? One. Maybe there's a patch antenna here, but I doubt it. This one, here's an interesting design choice. This antenna here hits on the plug. So you gotta do this every time. But you never need to unplug this, because the goggle battery here has the power button on it that you have to tap and hold, just like DJI. And so this is a rough design decision here, but yeah. Lots of potential. Lots and lots and lots of potential. In my uneducated opinion, they need to spend 500 hours on the software. I doubt that this is a hardware problem. It totally could be. But it feels like they just need to put a whole shitload of time and effort into the software, because you know damn well DJI has, right? Like when we look at the difference between DJI stuff and Walksnail stuff, Walksnail is, in a Walksnail's first digital system was basically them just taking vistas and reverse engineering them, right? Like everybody knew that from the first time they fired up Walksnail and like jumped into a menu. It was like, okay, yeah, this is just a Vista, but slightly better quality. And so like Walksnail is obviously closer to DJI, but they can't hold a candle to DJI. Again, smaller company, right? DJI can put if DJI puts 1,000 hours into the software for their HD system, Walksnail will only be able to put maybe like 100 hours, if that, right? Just from like scale, right? The scale of the companies, the amount of money that they have, the amount of employees that they have, the amount that they're going to sell, right? Like DJI is going to be able to outsell Walksnail by orders of magnitude, so they can put orders of magnitude more work into the system. And so we become, me personally, for sure, but we in general become very spoiled by DJI. Like across the board, their products are so far beyond everything else. It's kind of crazy. And so it's easy to like look at something like this and just be like, oh my God, it's so bad. But it really isn't when you compare it to like everything else out there. It's just that like, yeah, we're spoiled. So yeah, there you go. There's my thoughts on the P1. I wanted to put that at the very beginning of this stream, in case any new folks are interested in it and they don't want to sit through us bullshitting and talking about the chat and me telling you to go to CiottiFPV.com to support me so I can keep doing these. But the other big news is that I finally broke an arm on my frame. We're going to talk about that more in a minute. That's why it's all laid out here. And Friday's live stream might be like a deeper dive into that. But yeah, it took some abuse, of course. But I finally got it done. I just, on that second full throttle smash into the fire hydrant yesterday, it grenaded the camera lens. And so I couldn't really see where I was going, so I just walked down to the end of the cul-de-sac, and I just flew the thing to the tops of the trees, which are roughly like 100 and something feet, and then I just put either roll or pitch and just disarmed it and just let it drop to the concrete. And I think it did that like maybe 6 times, and it finally fell smack on one of the front arms that had taken all the abuse over the last month. And broke them. So, yeah, and I'm really happy with where it broke the arm. It broke the arm in the exact right spot. So I think it's ready to go. I am going to talk to Ryan about it, though, this week to get his take on it. And I am going to look deeper at, like, everywhere that there are little stress fractures in it. And again, just kind of run that by him as well, to see if it's worth it to kind of beef it up here and there. But, yeah. In the chat, Matthew Wegner was first. You can FPV, Fizz FPV. No, just Fizz PV. Sear, Mr. Clean, Frank Dr. Nicholas, Level Up, CB, Uriel, Matthew Wegner again, Flemo Fly, Borkbits, Dagul, Nyafu, Zout, Ryan Sadat, really good bad boy, Dead, Cole, Eric Coker, JFA, Uriel, Nyafu, Cole, Phillip, Brandon's Baked Beans, Cole, Jose Navarro, Blueback. What's up, people? Thanks for coming. Type at CiottiFPV if you want to talk directly to me. Go to CiottiFPV.com if you like what I'm doing and would like to see me continue to do it. I've put the word super chat in here so that it actually makes sense to people that haven't been watching these live streams for the past 5 years that I've been doing them. So yeah. If you want to see me review, get another, I have one Flywoo 04 Lite, but on my frame actually would be pretty awesome for one if you want to see some content from that. Yeah, you can help me pick one of those up because doing full-time FPV it's difficult. It doesn't pay very well unless you're like one of the 10 guys that were the first ones to do it and have been able to get in with like Discovery Channel and some of these other big corporations. For the rest of us, it is it's tough. Matthew Wagner tagged me and said, the very first title card on videos is basically for replay viewers. FYI, YouTube play/refresh almost never catches it live, even if waiting. First title card. Video. Viewers. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Are you trying to say that I shouldn't do an intro? The point of doing the intro for live streams is so that people can actually come into the chat, so that you're not starting talking to no one. For me, I try to do double duty with the intro and show flight footage surrounding what the theme of the live stream is actually going to be. So today it was the P1 footage, so that you can right away see the how good or bad the P1 system is performing. But yeah, that's how that works. FizPV says, I picked up a Moonlight kit and VRX to put on my 4-inch. I've actually heard really good things about the Moonlight kit. I took a bit of a dig at Walksnail a minute ago. I actually love Walksnail. I think they've made some weird decisions. I think the Goggles X had a lot of potential and just totally fucked up. And so, I think that Walksnail has kind of shot themselves in the foot once or twice, but boy, was the Walksnail system incredible before the 04 system. And like, if we lost DJI tomorrow, we'd be okay. Walksnail makes stuff that is really good. It's not as good as DJI, but it's really, really good. And so, like, I'm not a Walksnail hater. I actually love them. The Walksnail Lite was like mind-blowing for over a year, I think, that I was chasing RC drift cars with it. It was awesome, and like some of the edits that I've done from that look great. But DJI is a fucking juggernaut, They created the 04 system in the Avata 2. And the Avata 2 is something that they were going to be able to sell a shitload of. So they were able to put a ton of resources into the 04 Pro. The 04 Lite they designed for the Neo, which, again, they knew they'd be able to sell a ton of. And so they were able to really develop the shit out of the 04 Lite. Yeah, the FPV world is a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche. And so none of our companies, even though, Walksnail seems like a big-ass company, they're not. They're not a huge company. And so we need to remember that. And so, yeah, Walksnail stuff is great. I've been, to be honest, the original set of Walksnail goggles, they're some of the best goggles I've ever worn on my face. The screens are great. They're lightweight. They're the right shape. They're super comfortable. I love those goggles. The lenses sit a little bit too close to your eyeballs, and so if you have like stupidly long eyelashes, like me, you get like grease on the lenses and you have to wipe it off. But like, man, those goggles are great. I wish a lot of goggles were as good as those original Walksnails. So, Nyafu says, try the lemon hard candy. They're all individually wrapped. No need to ship the whole bag. I want you to guess the flavor. Impossible. So, lemon, eh? I don't see lemon. Oh, that's these. This is lemon. Ribbon. Ribon. Nyafu very kindly sent me a second box of goodies here, and there's a whole bunch of food from over in Japan. Nyafu, thank you so much. It's very, very cool of you. So, one would think that these are orange or lemon flavored. I can't read anything on here. It doesn't have much. American candies are just loaded with like sugar and flavors and shit, and so like they're overly flavored. This is not that. This is like candies that I've had from the entire rest of the world, where they're not like punch you in the face flavored. Just tastes like kind of orangey, kind of lemony. Yeah. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's not like a specific non-orange, non-lemon flavor that I'm picking up on. Ryan Sadat says, thanks for testing all the cool new stuff for us, as always. You're welcome. I would love to have eaten that whole thing, but anybody wearing headphones would absolutely lose their mind, rightfully so. Dead asks, do you have an affiliate link for Newbie Drone? Boy, do I. Over on CiottiFPV.com, I have a shitload of affiliate links. Change your bookmarks to people's affiliate links. If not mine, then someone else's. Because you have to hit affiliate links over and over and over again. And they get cleared, like they get cleared out with your cookies. So like every week or so they get cleared out. And then they get cleared out when you check out from a website. So you really do have to keep hitting affiliate links. And so, yeah, change your bookmarks to people's affiliate links so that you can support the people that you watch here on YouTube for free without thinking about it. If you don't use bookmarks and you just like type into your browser like GET and then it suggests fpv.com, you can remove those suggestions. So remove your regular old suggestions for all these websites and then just hit somebody's affiliate links like 5 times in a row. And that tells your browser like, wow, he really likes going to this link. Next time he types get, I'm going to suggest this big long link that has CiottiFPV at the end of it. That's weird. And then you can support people without even thinking about it. Cole says, just because the VTX is dirt cheap doesn't mean the rest of the quad isn't at least $100. Is it baller to litter trees with quads as if Benjamins were TP on Halloween? Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. Uriel says, bad transmission got multiplayed by improver. I think that's in reference to why the goggle DVR looks so much worse than what's in the actual goggle screens. Frank Dr. Nicholas says, your live stream overlay is covering the DVR text. Great! Well, hopefully I read out enough of the DVR text for you to know what it was saying, but it was just that subtitle shit down the bottom. Nothing super interesting. Cole says it might measure distance by RF time. Yeah, good call. Yeah, totally. That's interesting that they have distance in that. That's kind of cool. Really Good Bad Boy says this is the worst P1 footage quality I've seen. This is also the most aggressive flying I've seen it. I wonder if other channels are recording differently. Nope, I tried 3 different channels. It started me off on channel 1, and then I tried channel 3, and then on race, which was the highest channel, and then on race mode, it gave me like 16 different channels, and I tried the highest channel, 16. The channels didn't seem to make a difference. And when I was in the channels, I did look at, like, they give you a little signal strength of each channel, and I made sure I was picking channels that had good signal strength. So yeah, the channels didn't seem to do anything. Uriel says, can the wide view be used on side? If you're asking about the field of view, it's a 16:9 sensor in the camera. It gives you the option of choosing 4:3. All it does is chop the sides off. You don't get any additional vertical field of view. And I felt that the vertical field of view was definitely lacking, which happens every single time I fly any camera that is 16:9, that has a 16:9 sensor. you always sacrifice vertical field of view, and it always feels like you're kind of looking off the top of the screen. So yeah, that's the main reason that I never ever run cameras that are 16 by 9. I always get 4 by 3 stuff, and that matters quite a bit, in my opinion. Yafu says, "Is that not just OpenIPC, open source video link?" Maybe Cole says the open source ArtLynk is OpenIPC. Awesome. Okay, I've done no research on, or I've not watched a single video on OpenIPC, because every time I see it, it looks so bad that I'm like, nah, I'll wait for it to get somewhat decent. That is great news that ArtLynk is the what OpenIPC is based off of. And so yeah, now we just need a whole bunch of people to pour a shitload of time and effort into it, and then it'll get a lot better. Uriel says, you become one with your machine. It's the best part of a lot. I agree. Navu says, no, Ciotti, don't abbreviate circular polarized. Why not? Does CP mean something weird in Japan? Cole FPV says, solution, always keep that right side antenna. The antenna down. They perform best at right angles to each other, so kill two birds with one stone, leave the antenna down, and leave the power plugged in. Yeah, you're not wrong. But the problem with that is that with that antenna flat and down, the weakest point of that antenna is straight ahead. The strongest point of the other one is going to be straight ahead, right? But realistically, with that antenna folded down like this, it's going to be really strong straight up and then around to the right. And so you're really, all you're going to get from that antenna is from straight up to over here. With both antennas vertical, they're going to be strong all the way around, and both of them are going to be strong all the way around. And so, like, if one of them picks up something that the other one didn't, yeah, I would not run an antenna flat like this. If you could get the antenna out like this, that would be a much better situation, because it'll be better if I do it with a screwdriver. With the antenna out like this, it's going to be really strong straight ahead, up, and then back behind you. With it like this, it's only going to be over there. And so yeah, if given the opportunity to run an antenna flat like this versus straight up, I'll always run it straight up, even if the other one's straight up. But you're not wrong. Yeah, if I was flying more, and also like when I fly out in the front of the house, everything is out in front of me. I'm almost never flying all the way down the end of the street to the right where that antenna might actually work. But yeah, antenna placement's super important, friends. Always understand that an antenna, even a circular polarized antenna, is going to be strongest. It's like a donut. And so the antenna is like this, and the strongest point is 360 degrees, and then it gets weaker, and then it gets super strong, weaker. And so your antenna placement is really important. And so like having one antenna perfectly vertical is the best setup, because you've got this donut 360 degrees that's really strong. Well, if you have a second antenna and it's not a patch antenna that's really strong straight ahead, that second antenna, you want to do this with it, so that the strong part of the donut is in front, up, back behind, not really down below because it's bounce off the ground, but still. And so yeah, antennas at vertical, and then like this is what you want. This is a lot less good. Or that, because the null's going straight ahead. But it depends, man. Like if you're flying, having an antenna like this on the side of your head, if you're flying off to the right side of you a lot, that's going to work really good. And so it totally depends. You know, you can stand in a way that orients your antennas. And you know what I could do? It would kind of screw me up on the antenna on my transmitter, but what I could have done at the front door with that antenna folded down like this, I could have just rotated my body 90 degrees. That would have made The ELRS antenna on my transmitter worse because it's got to shoot out this way and back behind me, and it's got to go through all the shit, right? But like if you're out in a parking lot flying, how you stand makes a big difference. And like I swear to God, sometimes just like standing 45 degrees different from where you're at or 90 degrees different makes a massive difference. So always pay attention to that. Best way to get better video quality is with your antenna layout and just the way you stand. Where you stand and how you stand make a massive difference. Here's an ultra tip. An ultra tip. Ready? For all you new folks, the best way to get the worst possible video quality. Hold on, I'll give you the full experience. I'm gonna play this out. Here's the most common scenario when you fly with someone new. Here it is. Here it comes. Ready? Here it comes. Man, FPV is fun! This is fun. I can totally see where I'm going. I can't see where I'm going. Why can't I see where I'm going? Oh wait, I can see where I'm going, but I don't want to be back there. I want to be in front of it. Okay, now I'm in front of it. I can't see. I can't see. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. You have to learn to stand. You look even more like an asshole. And I get it. We look like an asshole anyway, so like, you know, if I look like a regular asshole versus a complete asshole, who cares? And sure, it's a good way to live, right? But still, boy, do you look like an asshole when you're fucking... But B, it's the biggest thing that you can do for video quality, to just stand up straight. Keep your fucking head stood up straight. Bonus points, if you really want your video quality to be good, run a patch antenna that has a really strong beam right in front of yourself and start listening to where the quad is. And when you hear that your quad is off in your right ear, turn your head to the right. And when you hear that your quad is in your left ear, turn your head to the left. And now that patch antenna is going to absolutely hammer, and you're going to have beautiful image quality. And so, most important is to just fucking remind yourself, change your craft name to head up, or put your head up, or like whatever you can fit in there as a reminder. Put a fucking rubber band on your wrist and snap it. Put an alarm on your phone. Doesn't matter. Figure it out. Whatever works best for you. Figure out how you can fucking stand with your head straight. And you will be blown away at what a difference just that makes. All right, I gotta get caught up on chat here. I'm quite behind. Ryan Sadat says, Brains Like Beans, weird behavior, but put motor risers on 1002 Mobula 7 V3 HD build, and now it's throttling and y'all washouting on dives. Wasn't before. Could this be a filter thing or PD balance? Take the motor risers off and confirm, because that doesn't make any sense. That should not have anything to do with it. But yeah, you got to take those spacers off to confirm that. Matthew Wegner says, by the time the video player is showing live video, it's a few seconds deep into the stream. Oh, few seconds, not a few minutes. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, you're talking about like this. You're talking about that intro screen. Interesting. Okay, I gotta leave that up for longer. I used to leave that up for longer. Cool. Thank you for that. I started leaving it up for shorter because of the music. Ready? I turn it here's because the music does this. And like on that hit, it's kind of cool to get off of it. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's there's always that weird lag. Cool. Good call. Thank you. David Ciotti with a 1999 super chat. He says, "Flywoo Ope for light." That's how you do it, friends. That's how you donate to this gear fund and force me to buy things that you want to see me fly and try and destroy. Thank you, Dad. Very, very cool of you. I have the coolest dad on earth. Sorry, the rest of you. Your dads might be pretty cool, but Jesus, mine's the coolest. Philip with a $5 super chat for the fun. Thank you, Philip. 55 goes to 60. Nice round number. Look at that. Doesn't that piss some of you troublemakers off that it's a round number? Wouldn't you rather it be like 69? Matthew Wagner says, no, I meant the card that shows for a few seconds at the very start. Yep. Thank you. Nyafu says, shout out to the best grandpa on FPV YouTube. FizzPV says, picked it because I want to do some ground stuff with head tracking, and Walksnail does gimbals way easier. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. I've always been really tempted to do head tracking stuff because Joshua Medlin of Medlin Drones, who's like the main guy doing the head tracking servos and just that whole deal, is a friend of mine. I met him at Rampage a few years ago, and we just got along really well. And he's just a super cool dude, and we've talked ever since. And he's a super busy guy. He scored a hell of a gig up by him that's kept him really busy over the last few years. Good for him. They couldn't have chosen someone better for it. And so, yeah, we don't really get to talk or hang out much anymore. But, yeah, I've gotten to chill with them at a few, more than 2 rampages, I believe. And just such a cool cat. But the head tracking thing is, it's a lot. It's a whole big thing. And I've got an awful lot going on as it is. And so, yeah, my focus is on all this stuff. It's as tempting as it is to like try that and to get going on something new. It would take a significant amount of time from all the other shit that I'm doing. And I'm not in a place with any of this other stuff where I'm like, cool, I can just let that sit. Like there's lots of new products and new stuff that I want to test, and I want to get some of this stuff dialed in even better than it is now. So that's where my focus remains. Daytona Jim with a $4.99 super chat. He says $5 holler. Thank you so much, Daytona Jim. British Baked Bean says, use Google Translate on your phone to translate that via the camera. I always forget that. My kids love to shop Korean and Japanese, so I do that a lot. Nice. Nyafu says the citrus is called yuzu. Ah, I know yuzu. It's an aromatic fruit mainly used as a secondary flavor in things. Yeah. I got a little bit into ramen a few years ago, and when you get into ramen, you're getting into Japanese cuisine to some extent. And yuzu is a very common sort of flavor. I'm actually surprised that I didn't pick that out. Ryan Sadat says, fun fact, BetaFPV 1102 motors come with M 1.4 by 4mm screws, which are the perfect length to use with 1002 motors on the Mobula 7 V3 frame. I think the motor mounts on the Meteor frames are 1mm thicker. Yes, they are. The Air frames are a little bit thinner, and then the Newbie Drone Light AF and Cockroach V3, and I think the Light AF 75 as well, have ultra thin motor base plates. YouTube just did the thing again. Really good bad boy with a $4.99 super chat. He says, thanks for all you do for FPV. You're certainly welcome. Thanks to all of you that support me by clicking like or recommending this to a friend or making a clip and posting it on your favorite local Facebook group or wherever, and or patrons or folks that click the affiliate links or folks that buy my t-shirts from the website from Teespring or something from my Etsy store. Every single one of you that does anything is why we can do this and why we can continue to do this, and it's super cool, and I appreciate you all. Chef Bruno says, for some reason my head drifts upward. That's better. It's way better to do this than to do this. So If you're going to drift in one direction, upwards is the way to go. It's also better for your back, for your head to drift upwards, because we walk around like this all day. Really Good Bad Boy says, I legit bought a neck brace to stop myself from leaning. I tried the tilt alarm on HD0 goggles too. Yeah, it's really important. Whatever you guys have to do. Whatever you got to do. But do it. Cole says, I was making a joke observation that we already have open source ArtLynk because we have OpenIPC. Not that ArtLynk is literally OpenIPC. I believe it's proprietary. It did not land. Got it. Yeah, you'll get that with me. It's okay, man. The best jokes are always the ones that you have to explain. Always, 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 always. Chef Bruno says, why would I have the calibrate message every few batteries on my 65, 75, and 85? Never happens on my bigger rigs. Because Tiny Whoop AIOs are trash and should be burned in a fire. Yeah, Tiny Whoops... Every weird thing that you can possibly have happen is going to happen on a Tiny Whoop, versus bigger rigs that are just like good to go and fucking fly normal. But yeah, it's just shit quality electronic. Look, a fucking 10-inch Death Machine Cinelifter that was like $1,000 to build versus a $100 Tiny Whoop. They have the same components, right? Like there has to be a flight controller, there has to be an ESC. Yeah, sure, the FETs are bigger, but like all the components are exactly the same between $1,000 build and like $150 build. And so like the fact that these Tiny Whoops fly at all is an absolute miracle. So yeah, we're gonna get all kinds of weird shit going on the smaller and cheaper the rigs, because the poor manufacturers have to just charge less for it. They can't charge $300 for a Tiny Whoop. Nobody will buy it. Yafu says, why not just orient the antenna differently? I have mine in an angle where if I point my head down, it points slightly up, mainly because I fly long range, so the quad/plane is in the mountains. Because at the beginning of when you start flying a battery, you're probably not going to be like this, right? And so like during the course of the battery, as your head drifts, your antennas change. And so you're going to have to pick. Either at the beginning of the battery, things are good, or when you're staring at the ground, things are good. And that's just silly. Learn to keep your head up straight, and then it'll be good the whole battery. And two, you want to start, once you can keep your head up, then you can start turning your head. And that makes a huge difference if you run a patch antenna. And well, then you can run a patch antenna, right? If you're doing this, for the love of God, don't run a patch antenna. When you learn to keep your head up, now you can run a patch antenna, and then you can start working on this. And that's when a patch antenna becomes, like, yeah, cheating, practically. Matthew Wagner says, ideally, that screen could be after footage, before talking but then it's easy to forget too. Oh, right. Yeah, reverse those two screens. No, I'll just hold on that screen a little bit longer. That's the easier way to doing it. B. Kirk says, my Carbon Fury is coming Saturday. Can't wait. Very cool. Be interested to see that. That is the carbon fiber Tiny Whoop from Atreides. Ryan Sadat says, Brandon's Baked Beans used Brandon's tricks in his earlier comment and also realized that it was on props in and no more yaw washouts. Didn't realize it was on props out. Yep, props out will do it versus props in. Props in dives way better. Ryan also says, side note, interestingly, props out makes it sound different. I never noticed that. That's cool. On the Mob 7 V3 frame, 1610 props also turned on dynamic idle to 36, which was off for some reason. That could have affected it. When dynamic idle is off, it's going to use old school idle, usually at like 6% or 5.5%. That would make it potentially sound different at 0 throttle, but it wouldn't make it sound different anywhere else. Nyafu says, we got to accelerate our calibrometers again. We do indeed. I still need to make this effing t-shirt. Wait, no. Yeah, no, that's it. Accelerate calibrometers. Still need to get that shirt made. My dad says modify the song with a longer lead in. really good idea. I could totally ask FizzPV to add a little bit more of a header onto that song. And I'm caught up on chat, which means we can take a quick look at the damage to my frame. The main damage. Wait, no. Hold on. Let's watch the. I've not watched the DVR yet of these half a dozen or so crashes. Here's the card. Here, let's take a look. Let's. What? Oh, I don't care. Eject the card, you rat. Nyafu, what are you pointing up at? Ryan's comment, maybe? Ryan says, I think the reason BetaFPV makes their 04 bind and fly rigs on the Pro frames is because they're stiffer and heavier. I think having a heavier rig isn't an issue on the Air frames, but heavier. Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. It's hard to pinpoint that kind of stuff. All right, so here was today's festivities. So that's what the lens now looks like.
All right, so the camera is wrecked, but I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm just going to throw this up in the air. Not throw it, I'm going to fly it up in the air and disarm it a bunch of times. But I got to be over here to get it, so here's what I'm going to do. Up, invert. There we go. Okay, let's do it again. All right. Try to do it right in front of me. That wasn't very high. Alright, that's high. Ooh, that was a good one. So this is top of these trees. Oh, that might have done it. Oh, I did it. I finally broke an arm. Hey, awesome. All right.
So there you go.
It broke exactly where I wanted it to break.
I guess I blew that VTX
up. Beautiful.
I didn't realize that I blew that VTX up. That's good to know. It was shutting off there on those crashes. The VTX in here, it's an old Eachine. I used to know the numbers offhand. It has been the same VTX through the months of hammering this thing into solid objects. So it's a miracle that anything has survived. What you're looking at here is the abuse from... let me just turn this mic a little bit. This is the abuse sustained over probably about 20 to 30 batteries. I have broken 4 of these motors. One of them is on here. The central 1.4 broke off. And then on this corner, I've broken 3 motors on the left front, motor number 4. This is the 4th one, I believe. I've ripped a bunch of when the arm broke, it ripped these wires off the ESC. This is the second ESC. I destroyed one ESC during the testing. I destroyed one camera during all this testing. And broke this arm. Waffled the shit out of this stack screw. This stack screw is all kinds of bent. Look at this poor little bastard. Look how bent that is, yo. So bent one of the stack screws, completely sheared This stack screw, I've never seen this before. This fucker broke right there. Where's the rest of it? Here it is. I've never done that before. I've never sheared a stack screw like that. This is a steel M2 stack screw, just completely broken off. This must have happened with that full throttle, with those 2 full throttle into the fire hydrant hits. It must have. And then for the carbon fiber, this is the sandwich plate all the way down the bottom, and it is spotless. There's not one single stress fracture whatsoever. The base plate is also looking really, really good, but we're starting to get some stress fractures up in the front here, behind the front standoffs. That is to be expected with those hits into that into the utility box and into the fire hydrant. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of pressure on the front. Yeah, okay. So that's just starting to break the top layer. Get you a little bit more of a close up here, which is totally fine. The top layer is not really structural. It's kind of just for show. What we actually want to look at is the individual layers here, and of course this camera is having a rough time focusing, but it is not looking like, maybe like a couple layers there on the top, but it's definitely not punching all the way through those layers. Let me take a quick look with this 5X loop. And yeah, it's not even looking like it broke through any of those layers. There's just the way that the carbon was cut. Yeah, you can really see it on this side, like it's clean. So yeah, that's completely fine. And like when I grab it like this, and I put some bending force into it, there's not like a weak point. Like this whole thing is kind of bending. And so then if I take the back, which doesn't have those stress fractures, it looks and it bends exactly the same. There's no difference between the front and the back, even though the front took so much abuse, right? Every single face first hit was pushing the top plate down into these. And so this bottom plate is looking really strong. The top plate has definitely had its ass kicked. And it's looking like it's trying to break in the middle here. Let's see if this will focus. Yeah, there you go. So it looks like it's trying to break in the middle here. My guess is when I put that giant 100-gram 4S 850 battery on here and started banging it into stuff at full throttle, that was that battery was just blasting into this top plate, and our top plates are always a little bit thinner, right? I think this one's 1.5 mil. And so that would make sense here. You can actually see where the stack screws were burying themselves into the bottom of the top plate. One of these are the front. This is the front of the top plate. This is the bottom front of the top plate. I think it's this stack screw here. This is the one that sheared and broke completely off. You can see it was how hard it was hitting the top plate, and you can totally see that the front end is taking more abuse because there's barely any marks here from the rear stack screws. The marks from the front stack screws are way worse. And so, yeah, I don't love this. I don't love that this top plate is breaking, but that 4S 850 battery is way too heavy. This build does not need a battery that big. But what's interesting is I'll bet you that the inner carbon fiber is not that bad. So if I take this, I got the 5X loop in my eye. If I take this, yeah, I mean, this top plate is definitely on its way to breaking. And when I bend this and I can look really close, what I can see is that, like, yeah, there's like I don't know, half a not even. There's maybe like a quarter or an eighth of a millimeter that of the inner layup of the carbon fiber that is broken, but then it's fine after that. And so if I bend it the other direction, yeah, this isn't as bad as it looks there. But this top plate is absolutely on its way out. The front of the top plate also got its ass handed to it. But again, it's not, it's just really, it's mainly like the top and bottom veneer layers that look bad, but the inner strands of carbon look fine, and that's where all the strength comes from. So if I grab just the tip here, that's what she said, and I bend it, it's kind of the same deal. It's only like maybe 10% of the carbon fiber is actually broken. This side is worse. This side is broken about half the way through on here. I can see when I bend it. And so this side was getting ready to go. And then we've got another little crack here. Okay, on this side, the carbon is actually starting to delaminate. So yeah, this top plate was on its way. I don't know what carbon fiber this is. This is just whatever carbon fiber that Ryan Harrell had. This, you know, the epoxy bonds in between these individual layers, I have no idea if they're good or bad. From what I hear, most carbon fiber is pretty identical. The rear end of this top plate is totally fine. Arms. I believe this is one of the rear arms because the devil horns are still nice and strong. This arm is absolutely fine. Even the top layer is not showing any signs of anything really. This is motor number 2 because this devil horn is mangled from hammering into the concrete. And so this arm, I know, is starting to delaminate. And there's a little mark right here where the veneer layer has started to let go. And this is exactly where we want it. This is where we want arms to break, right here at the base. And so that's great. This arm, even though on the quad I could feel that it was starting to delaminate, it's still really strong. That's impressive, man. Hell yeah. This is another one of the rear arms. And it is spotless, just like the other rear arm. And now this is the guy that finally gave up the ghost, and he didn't even break all the way through. There's a couple layers that are still attached here. I could probably pull really hard on this and rip it apart, but I think it's actually more fun to leave it like it is. Yeah, there's a couple layers that are hanging on, but this was at a 45-degree angle when I walked up to the quad. I think it was actually broken in that direction. And so you can see where it broke here. It broke at the base of the arm where the arm meets with the frame. And that's, from what I've been told, the right place for an arm to break. It delaminated a little bit towards the center here, but I mean, it mainly just took a huge hit with a big heavy battery on it. This thing was at like 260 grams with that big battery, I think. And so it was coming down from like 100-ish feet directly on this arm. And this part of the arm is way worse than it was. And so like I know that it came down on this part of the arm. It actually broke all the way through to the motor mount base. And this arm was already getting pretty banged up. This is one of the front arms. This is motor number 4. This arm took a shitload of abuse. This arm took the most abuse. But boy, this held up really, really well. Damn. Yeah, so there you go. That's what it takes to break the version 0.1 of my frame. If I can get these made, you will get the solid base plate that we just looked at, and you'll also get the split base plate. Sure wish I knew where anything was right now. Here we go. This is the split base plate version of the frame. And what I really like about the split base plate version of the frame is this front part of the split base plate is thicker. Because of the fact that the base plate's getting cut in half, you can make the part that takes the majority of the abuse thicker, and then the part that takes less abuse thinner. And so like when we were looking at this base plate and I was showing you how the front is pretty mangled but the back is totally clean, the split base plate solves that issue. And so if I were to do all that same durability testing on this rig, undoubtedly I would still have almost broken the top plate. I would have still almost broken the arm, but I can almost guarantee you that this base plate would have survived the abuse, because we've done a really thick base plate here. I think this is 3 mil. Here's the difference between the two. And I wasn't even able to break, I wasn't even able to break this base plate, even at this thinner thickness. And so, let's see. No, that's not going to focus. But now that I'm holding it like this, maybe I can get this camera to focus. Hold on. I can't get it. But it's thinner. It's quite a bit thinner. I think this is 2 mil, and then this is 3 mil. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on between the two of these. So yeah, interesting stuff. The split base plate does brace the arms a little bit differently in the rear, but the rear arms don't take nearly as much damage as the fronts. And so the split base plate one should crash exactly the same, maybe better. It kind of depends. The way that the sandwich plate on the very bottom of a solid base plate frame, the way that this sandwich plate braces the arms is like kind of fascinating, and where that strength comes from and where that break point sort of is. And so I'll be really interested to see what Ryan has to say about the stress fractures that we're seeing on this stuff, and see if there's any improvements that need to be made. There might not be. It might be good to go. It was so hard to break this fucking thing. My God, like, I've broken a lot of frames in the last 10 years, and this was gnarly. Like, there was a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to break this fucking thing. I'm gonna keep going, but like, I don't know if I can break it with the power that it was at. But hey, what did I do? Did I kill headphone users? I'm sorry. What did I hit? What was I hitting? Ryan Sadat says ORS dampens down the resonant frequency, and I think that's why we were seeing really low pitch oscillations on pitch when you built GetBarC 100204 rig. I copied your homework and had the same problem. ORS. Oh, that's a continuation of the previous comment. Airframes, but heavier motors dampens down the resonant frequency. Could be. Yeah. In my opinion, it's less about the weight of the frames and more about the stiffness. The lighter a frame gets, they're removing material, and so it's going to become more floppy. And so that would be my guess. But everything works together, right? Like, these things are a system, and so everything that changes has like multiple effects. And so yeah, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. DeGaulle says, rip headphone user, I felt every hit. Ryan Sadat says, sorry, I know you've definitely said it, but what was the weight of your frame in its current configuration again? I have no idea. You'd have to go back and look. Oh, wait, in its current, like when it was built. Well, that one was like a just trash parts. But this one with the 04 is with the 4S 550, which I think was my favorite battery on it. I believe it was 220, but that doesn't matter. Dry weight is 141. And that's with 04 light, Flywoo AIO, really big, really heavy motors. These are 1405 Oddity RC motors. They're big bastards. So yeah, it's a light frame. It's a light, tight frame that works really well with the double stack setup. And removable arms, adjustable deck height, like just everything that it's set up for 3 battery straps on top. Don't run 3, just run either one in the middle or one front, one rear. Or like if you have a big heavy camera out front, you can run one middle, run one rear to shift the battery back. Or if for some reason you got something really heavy in the back, you can do the opposite, run the battery far forward. But yeah. What is this? There's a stick in here? Get out of here. There's all kinds of shit up in there. Get out of there. Oh my god, that's really jammed in there. Oh my god, dude! Old dick twist. Alright, I got some of it out. Ryan says, only frame I know of that could get you down to 140 dry is the AV&RC Icon 3, which is kind of fragile. Really good work. Thank you, dude. I had very little to do with it. A guy by the name of Cool Coyote was the first one to hear me talking about like what the perfect frame would be and design something. And then he sent me the design, and I forget who the second person was that took a crack. Oh, no, sorry. Cool Coyote was the second person. Rotorius was the first person. Rotorius was the first company to ever sponsor me in FPV. They were a little frame company over in England. And I was flying their CB122, I believe it was called, frame when I did the power loop and Matty flip around the folding tables in the warehouse in front of all the Rotor Riot guys, and Joshua put out the video that got all the views, and so did I. And then, Rotorius did a frame, a 3-inch version of that frame with me, for me, whatever, that never like fully came out. And then Cool Coyote took a crack at it, and then I had these 2 designs, and I met Ryan Harrell, who created the website Mini Quad Test Bench, MQTB, which was the source for motor and ESC testing way back in the day. Ryan is a brilliant guy. I met him at a quad camp at Joshua Bardwell's house. Joshua brought us both in to be instructors, and I met Ryan there, talked to him a lot. We got along super well and stayed in touch. And when I found out that he was doing a lot of Lumineers frames, he's now done probably the last like 20 Lumineer frames. So like all these QAV Cine frames. I think Johnny FPV is sponsored by Lumineer. I think he did his most recent frame. He's done a lot of really fantastic frames. I got those 2 designs to him, and then he took them, and I told him, all the ideas that I had in my head, and he ran with it. And this is, he did this. Sure, there's a bunch of like ideas that have come from me, how big to make it, how to set it up for, no big shit in the back. But like, he is absolutely he deserves most of the credit for this frame design, because he just did a hell of a job. And so yeah, now I get to message him some pictures, and we'll see what's up. There was a little while that he was talking about pitching this frame design to Get FPV, and he actually asked me like, "Hey, if I make some design changes to it so it doesn't look like your frame anymore, would you mind me using this design for a Get FPV Lumineer frame?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, dude! Whatever gets it done and like gets it made so that I can fly it." And that never ended up happening, probably because like it's kind of insane to not have a rear 20x20 area on a micro frame, but 04 Lite changed that, and I absolutely love it. But this frame was originally designed for analog only. Like this was very specifically designed to force you to run analog or the RunCam hybrid up front, which was a double lens camera, one HD sensor and lens, one FPV sensor and lens. That's where the split base plate idea came from, because that RunCam hybrid camera requires a 28mm front standoff because of how tall it is to get some up tilt on it. And so this was designed for that, but just as like a fun, happy little accident, when 04 Lite came out, it's a hell of a build to just throw an AIO 04 Lite in here, big old set of motors, 4S, 450, 550, 650, and just let her rip. It'll run on 2.5-inch props if you get a high enough kV motor, but 3 inches where it's at. It's a little light for 3-inch though. I'm gonna mess around with 2.5-inch props on this, to be honest. But yeah, really cool build. Cool. Let's fly a couple batteries, and then we will all enjoy the rest of our Wednesday night. I'm gonna fly a couple of these 260 Lava V2s, 280s rather. We're gonna compare them to the Weebleed 320s. Yo! Hey, yo! Hey! Yo! There should be a quad sitting here that I can fly. There is. Hold on. You know, I want to make the OSD a little bit more readable on this. This is the one that I sent to Spider Sugar, and he put his crazy OSD font on here, which is admittedly very cool looking, but like it's hard to read. Like, and I want to be able to read the OSD out of the corner of my eye without having to like look at it. I also like having my logo up in the corner. And that's something that this very cool little custom version of the Betaflight font does, thanks to Kelvin. Why does that have a weird logo around it? That's odd. All right, so I need to get this little string of characters in the clipboard. Okay, copy. All right, good to go. So if you ever wondered how to change the font on your flight controller, you go to OSD, and then you go to Font Manager, and then you click Upload Font down here on the bottom. No, you don't. You go to Open Font File first. We get to redo this. Okay. OSD, Font Manager, open font file, point it at your font, and then you upload the font. And so now it shows you your font here, so you can kind of see. Well, it's gone, but a couple of the characters are the CiottiFPV logo, and those characters are basically exclamation, quotation, pound, %, and then the ampersand. And so now the OSD will have my logo in the top left corner, which is just the coolest thing ever. OSD, just make sure the elements are all that I want are all in here. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. Auto. Cool. All right, we're all set. Let's fly. Let me unplug the VRX real quick. Plug it back in. Yo. All right. That should be a little bit better. Yeah. Let's do a Weebleed 320 first. Regular old 1S BT 2.0 tiny whoop battery. Same weight as like all the other 300s. Here we go. Oh, you guys get to see Teddy Spaghetti's horrible haircut. I hope you're ready. I hope that you're ready. Because he looks bad. Here we go. Oh, boy. Oh, there he is, the poor guy. He's naked. He's naked. He looks like if you go to Central Park and there's like the cartoonists. He looks like what a cartoonist would draw if you told the cartoonist to draw a weird schnauzer. Look how big his head looks. Look at him. He looks like a legitimate cartoon character. I could tell he's embarrassed too. He doesn't like it. He misses his flowing locks. Whoa boy. All right. So I was only flying that P1 system like an hour before this live stream. Yeah, it's got a lot of latency. This is what FPV is supposed to feel like. Yeah, this is even though I can't stop crashing, this is noticeably better. Oof. Ah! Just trying to get it settled down for the tunnel run. Woo! Whoa, buddy. Look at him. Look at this pitiful dog. Look at these stick legs on the dog, not on me. I guess I can't really talk shit about stick legs because I'm the definition of stick legs. Oh god, no! Oh no! That was my Happy Father's Day card. Oh, Teddy boy. We're coming in hot. Oh, who put that drum stool there? Oh, that was stupid. I don't... Midway through that, I was like, wait, there's a couch there. That ain't gonna work. Oh, stop it. Transmitter. Oh my god, what is happening? Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, dude! What? Why? Cool. Ah! So this Weebleed cube get me the fuck out of there! This Weebleed cube is now all the way back in the corner here against the wall, and it has made this mega power loop way more difficult. way more difficult. So I'm still kind of trying to adjust to this. Okay, that was a piss poor attempt. Oh no. It's all tangled up in the wires. We're good though. Ah! Damn you! Look at the runtime on this battery. What? Alright, let's just chill for a second. Let's just chill. We'll fly like a sane human being rather than someone trying to... I don't even know. I don't know, man. What was that? Ooh. Yay! There's a little bit. Oh, no. Don't make me get up. Don't make me get up. Ryan Sadat says, when was the last time you played drums on stream? 6 months ago. They sound like I'm banging on pots and pans. You have to, in order for drums to sound even remotely decent, you have to mic them up properly and kind of mix them properly too, or it just sounds horrifyingly bad. And I have neither the time nor the motivation to do that. It's great to have the drum set up here, and I make some noise on it every once in a while, but not very often. It's a little frustrating because I used to be really, really good, and then I didn't play for 20 years, and go figure, I'm not really, really good anymore. But it's still fun. It is fun. I have another battery. Here it is. This is me swapping out the transmitter battery, by the way. But yeah, I need to... I have a couple friends that play guitar, and I have jammed with Patrick before, and it's really, really fun. And like, so that's why the drum set is really put together, but I just need to be better about inviting those people over to come and play. So, all right. That was a regular Tiny Whoop battery. Now we're going to go to a Lava V2 280. This is 1.2, I believe is the number, grams lighter than the normal 300 mAh, 300-ish mAh batteries. And so we're going to get a little bit less runtime, but we are a full gram lighter, which is well worth the hit on runtime. I kind of think that this is the battery. You just buy a couple more of them. Instead of only buying 4, you buy 8. It's still got really good power. Oh man, I am not flying very well tonight, for the record. That was pretty hot though. I put a big correction in there to try to get that, and I managed to get it through that gate. Ah! Nope. Thing made a weird noise too. It's okay. There we go. I've been trying to do that behind the TV run. Jesus. How does this happen? How? Why? I'm not going to justify that last chat comment with a response. Teddy, stop it! Don't eat it! I love you! I'm going to eat you! You hear me? I'm going to eat you! Look at him. He's on duty. Teddy's on duty right now. What's he gonna do? There we go. There's the old Teddy spaghetti. Oh! Where'd you go, you little bastard? There he is. Oh! Man, the skinny leg committee is strong in the basement tonight. Look at these two. There are 6 of the skinniest legs on planet Earth in this basement right now. Ah! Oh, no, no! Oh, now we're in it. Nope. Nope. Oh, I thought it would go through there. Stop talking and just fly. Hey! Do it. No! That was too much to ask. I was on such a roll, though. I was like, well, I mean, might as well go for the channel run. Try it one more time. Ah, it's too much, man. Doing that after the dive is just impossible without it just being luck-based. This is a 6 batteries live stream, so make sure you've flown your 6 today, friends. Tomorrow you will thank today you. Will by that point be yesterday you. Another 280. Here we go. Let's go upstairs and hammer this battery a little bit. Watch the float. Watch the float up here. Ready? Lightweight battery. Hey! Hey! Okay. That was awful. Here we go again. Hey! Oh! Still plenty of power to dig that landing out so I don't hit the ground, you know what I mean? That's what... Like, BetaFPV had 260 mAh batteries, which were the same weight, but they didn't have that extra power that you really needed from them. Jesus, that is hard. It's one of the reasons it's hard is I don't practice right-handed orbits as much as left-handed orbits. This fan is the reason that I'm finally getting better at right-handed orbits, though. But it's also just really fast. Like this is the slowest speed for this fan. I was hoping that with this many blades it would spin very slowly, but it won't spin quite slow enough. Hey, oh, oh, oh. Hey, oh, go through there. Yeah, that's fine. Ah, the bar cart. The bar cart and I have a tenuous relationship. Hey! Sometimes I make the bar cart my bitch. More often than not, it makes me look like a shitty pilot. Oh! A tight one. Ah! Oh my god, why? Oh my god. No, no, no. Stop it. Let me live. Oh god, no! I don't know about this. This is going to be a tough recovery. Oh. 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 Uh-oh. Whoa. Yep. Come on. Get. Let me live. Let me live. Yeah! Teddy was going over there to just keep an eye. He's the manager was on duty. The big-headed manager. The big-headed, small-bodied manager. Why do I never fly over on the 3D printer? Hey, print me, bitch. Oh, God! Oh, no. Oh, man. I was trying to, like, really cork that out. I was trying to, like, go through the gate like that. Oh, I can't do it even when I'm trying to do it to just show you. Lava V2 280s, man. Such a cool battery. I'm going to leave it there, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging. I will see you again on Friday. Perfect. Perfect. Beep all you want, you sons of bitches. I'm done flying. Fuck you. Anybody new around here? That probably seems like a bit much. Just trust me, it's not. Ryan set out with a $1.99 super chat. He says, for the camera with the wide lens on it. Thank you, dude. Look at that. No more nice, round, even number. Who will fix it? Be good friends, CiottiFPV.com to support me. Discord is the best possible way you can do that, and you get the most benefits. I will see you on Friday at 7 o'clock. Be good, people. Here's a little bit more of the... Well, no, I don't have the P1 memory card in here anymore. Here's some of the crash testing of my frame to get the arms to break. Ryan set out with a $5 super chat. He says, now it's 67. Oof, even worse. Thank you, brother. All right, people, be good. Have an awesome rest of your week.
Yeah. Out in the yard where the grass grows wild, CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy Spaghetti's fur flies and jet wash dreams, yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin all tangled in place, yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail in the circus of the sky. They never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed. They zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sighties on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah, yo, Ciotty behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive. Teddy push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep, yeah. CiottiFPV, Teddy Spaghetti, diamond and duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed. Zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Teddy Spaghetti, Teddy and duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed things. Zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah, when you hear that bar cut the rotor hum, you know Ciotty and Teddy's mission's just begun. FPV's fur-faced legends, legends singing loud. Yeah, Teddy Spaghetti and CiottiFPV always proud.